David Warner is enjoying another crack at life, smashing his way through the Cricket World Cup, father to a beautiful baby girl, and about to marry his saviour. You see, the 28-year-old has packed an awful lot into his short life, and not all of it worthy of applause. Warner's nickname, the Bull, could just as easily apply to his explosive nature off the pitch as it does to his big hitting on it. Pub punch-ups, Twitter tirades and relentless sledging meant Warner seemed destined for a fall as spectacular as his rise. But then everything changed. And as David himself admits, it's all thanks to a very special woman, Candice Fowson. She's brought love, discipline and maturity to David's life. 3 qualities he'd draw on in spades when faced with his biggest challenge yet. It's a side of David Warner the world rarely sees. Emotional, vulnerable, grateful for his second chance. Since he found love with former Ironwoman Candice Fowson, the dynamic Aussie batsman has done some growing up.
You never want to lean on someone, and that's what I did do with Candice. It was almost like I relied on her advice to give it my all. And, you know, waking up every day, seeing her smile before she goes to training, put a smile on my face to get up and do what I love.
He goes out there and he's a warrior, he's fearless, but then when he comes home, he's a real softie.
Do you think he's misunderstood, that there's a perception issue with David?
I think so. I think things that he has done in his past, people have got their opinions, like he's still that person that he was. But in the last 18 months, what he has done has been truly inspirational.
It's match day. 2 hours out from the toss, the Aussie opener is one cool customer.
You probably want to stand in there, I reckon.
I hear you. Limbering up in the practice nets, getting his mind into the zone.
It's fast. Are you ready to rumble, so to speak? Is your head in a cricket space?
Yeah, it is, definitely. You know, we've got to try and focus as much as we can, a couple of hours out, and get ready for the battle.
Well, have a great game.
Thanks,
Good
mate.
luck.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Score big.
Cheers, mate.
See
Thank
ya.
you.
From one-day slugger
That's the way he plays. That's how he loves to play.
to consummate test opener, David Warner has made scoring big a habit.
Dave Warner.
And out on the field,
What a performance.
he's as mesmerising
There it is. That's 100 for David Warner.
as he is polarising.
David, I heard you.
Are you the designated attack dog in the team?
Sometimes I think I am, but you have to have some sort of common sense. And yeah, people are going to laugh at me for saying that, but I'm the first person to put my hand up and say, I'm no saint, no angel. I do nudge that line all the time. I do live on the edge.
When he demanded an Indian player speak English 2 months ago, it was classic Warner. Aggressive and confrontational. It's a style that's earned him a thuggish reputation.
Was speak English aggressive, racist or anything in any way in your eyes?
It was aggressive probably the way that I said it, in the manner that I said it. Racist, no way in the world. You know, I was asking him to translate it because what he was saying in his language, I understood, right? The umpire wouldn't have understood. But if I was to say what he said in English, the umpire would understand and I'd get into trouble. And that's simple as that.
I'd love to know what he said.
Probably not for national TV. A lot of things have changed, but still brings a lot of memories back to me.
How long ago did you move out?
Oh, about 10 years ago.
To understand David Warner, you have to go back to a housing commission block in the Sydney suburb of Matraville.
Was it a good time growing up?
Thoroughly enjoyed it, I loved it.
From the earliest age, he had a bat in his hands and cricket running through his veins.
Which was your bedroom?
This one right here in the middle.
Endless summers were spent like this. The neighbours could never have guessed what the cheeky blonde kid would become.
I remember all the times I used to try and ask for our ball back over the fence. When I knew Robin was out going to get her groceries, I'd jump over the fence and grab the ball.
So that explained all the broken plans. Now I know.
At junior cricket, he was nicknamed the Termite because he was such a pest. His parents, Howard and Lorraine, struggled to rein in the enthusiasm.
When they were fielding, if another kid hit the ball, he had to race and get that ball. Regardless of where on the field it was, he had to be the first one there to throw the ball back in. I said, mate, look, you're fielding over there, you stay there. If the ball goes this way, you stay there, let someone else field it. No. That lasted for about an over.
Parents knocking out our door and get your son away from our garage, and just bang, bang, bang on the garage door with the ball, and the next week you see a sign up, no ball games, no skateboards.
Great memories of your childhood doing this?
Sure is, until you get the neighbour up there to peek out the window and say, get away from my wall, stop banging it.
What would you say?
I'm practising.
The practice paid off.
Oh, he won't stop that.
It's been a supersonic ride since David blasted his way onto the international scene in 2009.
Beautifully timed again from Warner.
Without having played a single first-class match,
Oh, he won't stop that.
he stumped up for the Australian T20 team at the MCG. And this is what he did.
You've been warned. It ain't coming back. We've lost that ball.
The baggy green would follow.
A brilliant 100, but welcome to the international stage.
But just 18 months after realising his boyhood dream, David Warner nearly threw it all away. While on tour in India, he embarked on a Twitter tirade against two of Australia's leading cricket writers.
You know, you've sort of just made it big time. You sort of get carried away with yourself, and you sort of almost feel like you're invincible.
Was there a cockiness and an arrogance about you that led you down the path of abusing those journalists because you didn't like something they'd written?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't really actually understand the power of social media, probably. I didn't realise that something like that could be something big. But then look, 6 weeks later, I stuff up again.
Dave Warner is on the verge of being sent home from the Ashes tour after a drunken weekend in which he allegedly...
That stuff-up was punching English Test batsman Joe Root in a Birmingham bar.
It's hard to reconcile that you didn't learn a lesson in India and then you're doing this in front of your teammates in a pub. As you look back on that, what on earth was going on?
I was just down on myself because, you know, when we weren't playing our best cricket, I wasn't playing my best cricket at the time, and I think it just all led into this big, say, volcano ready to erupt.
What was the conversation like with Cricket Australia, with the boss, after Joe Root?
Oh, his words was that it was a despicable act. What happened was, it was inappropriate. I had doubts in my mind to say, do you deserve to actually have another opportunity to go out there and represent Australia? And it was really, really tough. Really tough.
But in his darkest days came the light of his life. 6 years earlier, Australia's youngest ever professional ironwoman, Candice had been through a scandal of her own that left her humiliated and suicidal. She felt she could offer advice.
Candice messaged me and said, look, I think you got to pull your head in, let's have a chat, and it went on from there, and that was the starting point, and that probably turned my life around.
Were you saying to him, don't go where I've been?
Well, it was almost like you stuff up again and you're going to lose everything.
Would you be playing cricket for Australia if Candice hadn't have made contact with you?
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing. I wouldn't be playing for Australia, that's for sure.
As a professional athlete, Candice brought new discipline and focus to David's life. The turnaround in his performance was dramatic. Century after century, he proved his right to play at the highest level.
That'll do it.
And with maturity has come fresh responsibilities.
So Pete, this is Ivy May, our beautiful little daughter. She's all full of smiles all the time.
Yeah, she sure is.
She loves you, doesn't she?
Just to look at her and the way she looks at you, it's just all love. It's an amazing feeling.
You can't compare, can you, walking up for Australia in a test match or being a dad?
No, you can't. They're both amazing, and it's obviously a privilege to have, you know, a healthy baby and being able to walk out and doing what my childhood dream was, and that's playing cricket for Australia.
You've hit the jackpot twice. Oh, sorry, Candice. 3 times.
But amid the joy of parenthood came heartbreaking loss. The death of his good mate, Phillip Hughes, in November. David was right there in the moments after Phillip was struck by the devastating bouncer, tending to him, holding his hand on the way to the ambulance, and praying, like the rest of us, for a miracle that never came.
When I got home after that day, I was standing in the shower and I was sort of facing my wall in the shower and just hands in my head, going, why? But the thought of the thought of coming off that day, holding his hand was it hurts every day when I think about it. It's hard to talk about it now. It was hard to talk about it with Candice. You know, I turned around to Candice and said, you know, why does this happen? Why did this happen in the game of cricket?
It was a question that haunted the nation. And as Phillip Hughes was laid to rest, a pall was cast over the immediate future of the Australian team. Then, 2 weeks after Phillip was struck, the players dug deep to return to the field, where David Warner saluted his friend with a magical century.
A glorious celebration for the life of Phil Hughes.
Looking into the skies, looking into the stands, just brought a big smile to my face to say, I've done it for him. I've done it for my mate.
But it's out in the middle of the SCG where cricket's darkest day is most raw.
Even now, is it difficult walking out here?
Yeah, it is. You know, you take each step as it comes, and it just hits you even more the closer you get out to the wicket.
It was here in the Sydney Test against India that David paid his most poignant tribute. Reaching a symbolic 63 not out, the score Phillip was on when he was felled, David dropped to his knees to kiss the very spot where his friend's life had been taken.
I think sometimes you need to visit these things, and the only way to face it is to come face to face with it. Pete, how you going?
Good to see you.
Coming in.
Your castle.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a castle.
You've climbed a ladder, haven't you, from where you began?
It's been a remarkable journey from those days in the Housing Commission.
It's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, it's stunning.
Now, one of our highest paid cricketers,
Have you decorated it?
Candice has, yes.
David Warner, has settled into a $6 million pad by the ocean, as well as buying a new home for his parents. Next month, he and Candice will get married. Off the field at least, the fella they call the Bull seems to have been tame.
And it sounds like you're a pretty good team, the two of you.
I just support David. That's my role, that's my job, and I love it.
One day you'll just be the Warner family, it'll be all over.
And I'll be very happy with that.
We want to share every experience with each other. And that's when you know you've got someone that you can spend the rest of your life with.
Now you've got to walk down the aisle.
We do.
Don't look so scared.
I think that's more of a fright to her dad actually being able to let go of his daughter. To me.
Hello, I'm Liam Bartlett. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.